Hi kids. Wanted to touch on a couple more learning strategies we could do to improve the tension in the lumbar spine that some of you may be experiencing, although hopefully not so much anymore. Um, so we played last time with lengthening the neck by gently pulling, gently guiding, not even pulling's the wrong word, guiding the head so that the back of the neck lengthens and you are so relaxed that you can feel that translating through your thoracic vertebrae and into your lumbar. So there was that option. We also played with gliding the head a bit forward, which softens the chest and also opens the back. What else did we play with? Using the knuckle to find the pelvis dropping and the spine realigning. Now, something I don't believe I mentioned was that once you've found these, this organization of a longer spine, you can confirm it by bouncing on your heels, which sends a message of vibration between all the vertebrae so they can listen to their partner above and their partner below. So in whatever you're playing with, once you've found that organization, and they're all a little bit different, you can confirm it by lightly bouncing on the heels. So we really want to take care of lengthening. Like, I wouldn't want to necessarily confirm this because your neck is shorter. But when the neck is lengthened and the thoracic is lengthened and the lumbar is lengthened, then you can send not a shock wave, but bones. The language of bones is pressure, and vibration is pressure that's moving. So the bones, you can find an alignment and do it for a minute, and do it in the rhythm of a heartbeat. Boom, boom, rest. Boom, boom, a slow heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Now that's doing a lot of things. The vibrations are sending a message to the osteoblasts. It's stimulating production inside your bone marrow for more juice to strengthen the bones. You know, we do things like this along the side of the bone. That is also a vibration that is strengthening the bone. You may, everyone who uses a device now, whichever finger uses it the most, you might notice that you have a thicker finger because the bones got denser from the constant pounding or drumming, whatever. So, wanted to mention bouncing on the heels. And sometimes when you're just standing around, I mean, who waits in line anymore? I'm not sure, but you know, when you are waiting in line, you're 6 foot distance apart from your fellow human being, you can lightly bounce on your heels and people around you might start to move away. That might be a good thing. But right away, your bones will feel who's below and who's above, and just that simple action of bouncing a few times might be enough to get your system to reorganize in a way that's more aligned. For me, since I have a scoliosis and tend to lean or bow out to one side, when I do this, it starts to unwind so that actually I start to face this way because my spine has unwound. And if I could but function like this in the world, I have no doubt that scoliosis would improve radically. but it's very hard to not face your work. The other strategy I wanted to mention is, some of us have played with this in class, is taking the thumb side of your hands and contacting your pubic bone and pressing in and back in such a way that it rocks you onto your heels. Now, and you might feel like you're about to fall over. That's okay. You can do it with the wall behind you so you feel safe. So if you push into your pubic bone in such a way that you feel your pelvis go back, and by now that feeling is probably becoming more familiar, of your lumbar spine lengthening. So you can press lightly, and how hard? Again, 20% maximum. Pressing, relaxing, and there, whoa, you have just sunk into your quad, have you not? Because releasing the lumbar. Okay, so a little bit about the physics of the spine. The easiest way Mother Nature found to balance a segmented stick, let's say you had a stick with different shapes and sizes of blocks on it, and you needed to balance it. See, here's kind of an S curve here, kind of. And you needed to balance it. Imagine that this is all segments. And it would be very hard to keep it balanced because it's so long and move around. So what Mother Nature did is she created the S curve, which is easier to balance a segmented stick. So see, this is, and it's on one point here, but it's not easy to balance it. But if it was a little more mobile, there's a lot more possibilities. Now, each of the surfaces of the lumbar are shaped in a specific way so that the curve of the lumbar spine, did I say lumbar? Each of the bones of the back set differently on top of each other. So where there is a natural curve in at the lumbar, the bones are a little slanted to support that. So they're not all just like straight tree trunks, top and bottom. Then they come up, and there's less, and there's less. You go through the thoracic spine, and then they start to curve in, and the neck, and those bones are shaped so that they will balance in an S curve. So really, when the easiest way for us to balance and stand still for a long time is for those S curves to be able to express themselves. Now, unfortunately, there is a misunderstanding. I hear it all the time in someone will come to see me for a private lesson or for a Feldenkrais session, and let's say they've been to a lot of physical therapy, and they are told to stand up straight with your chest lifted and your shoulders back. Now, how many people have I seen that have frozen shoulders, and they come to me, and this is what they are trying to remember to do this, but they're pretty fucked up. So the most neutral place for the shoulders to be is a little bit forwards. A little bit forwards. Not here. This posture comes from, I hope I'm getting my history correct, but it came from the Swedish military. In the 1800s, they had like an exercise program for the military to stand like this. And this, I think, is what became our posture. Now, try standing like this for a long time, and you'll develop some problems. I'll be right back. Oh, so, and where did this, a lot of this came from, okay, the Swedish military, this is predated by the Roman warriors because they had to wear this heavy armor. And so they developed this strength training for, calisthenics, which became Jack LaLanne and jumping jacks. It became part of our exercise culture. This comes from way back from the Roman army, having to wear this heavy armor. That's also where, when the knights wore heavy armor, this is just an aside, a trivia, get off your high horse, if you've heard that expression, comes from the knights wearing the armor. They had the big horses. Those big horses were the ones that could carry them. And they'd say, get off your high horse. And then they'd get on to a smaller horse and go into battle, because the smaller horse was faster. Okay, a little bit about the spine. So, if you take your thumbs and press into your pubic bone in such a way that you feel your lumbar going back and your chest sinking and relaxing, then you can confirm that with bouncing on your heels. Now, we also want to take care of the neck, so what could we do? Take one arm and spiral it up from the little finger and turn it so the little finger faces behind you. This is the most efficient way to lift your arm, much more efficient and joint friendly than lifting like this. So spiral up, and you can feel that your wing is now against your spine and your chest is open on that side. So there's a straight line overhead, middle finger over your central line. Now, with the other hand, turn it with the thumb in and press your pubic bone. So this hand is helping you stay upright. This hand is helping your lower back neutralize. Now you can bounce. And then step from side to side. Maybe there's a little turning. And then rest your arm because that gets tiring. And then try the other side. So spiral your other arm up. So turn the thumb to face forwards. And it's right over the middle of your head. Doesn't have to be straight, just like the, okay, so look, yin-yang symbol. You can fill it in. Boom. Here, here. There we go. This shoulder is open. The shoulder blade is closed in the back. This side, it's rolled forward. And there's a spiral happening across the shoulder girdle, like wringing a towel. We've talked about that before. So now here, find it. Long neck, long back, long lumbar, bounce. So you're basically making your spine into a stick, not as a way of being all the time, but as a way, an option that you can find when you need it. So when do we need to be like a stick? When we're doing something with power. You're not going to lift something like this. A lot of people do, and that's when they end up getting emergency surgery. So getting under something so that whatever you're lifting can go through you to the ground and not have a shearing force against one or two vertebrae and break you over time. So I know some of you have a very strong pattern of holding in the back. And so you might want to check in a mirror that when you push into your pubic bone, you don't see this happening. Yes, you're going back on your heels. I feel myself going back on my heels. But the lumbar is fixed, right? So you don't want that. You want to push back so that you sit down, not so that you reach back with the sits bones. Okay, so another variation we can do with the one arm up and the other arm down is to move your head over, slide your head over towards the arm that's up. So maybe at first you feel that you tilt your head. You can tilt your head, but if you're tilting your head, see, we're having a curve, we're making a curve in the vertebrae of the neck. And what we want is we want to move the head over. And where that happens is at C7, the big bone that sticks out at the base of the neck. Now some people, especially people who sit for long periods of time and write, become very fixed at C6, 7, and 8. And that becomes, over time, I call it the rhinoceros hide. It becomes like a lump. And that lump is there. It seems to be impenetrable when you touch it with your fingers. It really does feel like rhino hide. If you've ever touched a rhino. But that happens because there's no movement in that area. So we want to make sure that we can move the head in all directions. I will give lessons specifically around this in the future, but I just wanted to mention that when you're sliding the head over, it's happening at C7, which is the juncture from the neck to the shoulder girdle. That's the juncture. So if you think of the old typewriter cartridges sliding over, you want to slide your head a little bit over towards the arm that's up. Now, one way you might find that would be to take the wrist of the hand that's up and gently pull it over, as though to pull your arm next to your head, and think of your head like a magnet going to closer to your arm. And then you can come down, find this, and bounce on the heels a few times. Transfer weight right and left a few times, and then let it go and just walk around. Where's my dog? Oh, there she is. Sorry, I have to give her a treat. Take a little break. Good girl. All right, so recovered. Take the other side. Spiral your arm up. Now, think of moving your head directly sidewards. Think of a stick going through your head, coming out each ear. That's going to move directly sidewards. The stick is not going to tilt. Not going to tilt. It's going to move over. So, take hold of your wrist with your other hand. Extend up. Have the extension reaching through your middle finger. Through your middle finger. And then lightly pull your arm a little over and invite your head to just move a little closer to the arm. It doesn't have to touch. Just a little closer so that you feel your head going off center, staying level, eyes at the horizon. Now bring the arm down. Press into the pubic bone so you feel the lumbar spine lengthen and you've come back into your heels. And now, boom, boom, relax. Boom, 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 and walk from side to side. And walk around. Okay, and now, before we go on, please lie down on your back and just take a rest on the floor and let all that sink in to your nervous system. You stand your feet, lie down on the floor for 5 minutes, and then we will go on with the next move. something else I wanted to mention before I forget about the spine. We're talking about how the facets are a bit slanted so that the curve goes one way, and then they kind of level out, and then but not completely, and then they curve the other way. If you have the chance to look at a skeleton, you can see what I mean. It's by design that the bones have this S curve. However, if one lives one's life for many, many years, holding in a fixed position vertebrae in a certain relationship that is not part of the design, the bones will start to wear into the shape that you are asking them to take over time. So just, that's an aside. But the design is the S curve. Now, there is one vertebrate that is vertical. There's the sacrum, which is sort of cupped under, then their lumbar curve, right? Then the thoracic curve, which I don't have much of because I trained in dance for so many years to open the chest. And this is every dancer's sort of situation. Very, very hard to let go of that pattern. But lumbar curve, S curve, thoracic curve, for me not so much, and then the cervical curve. And all these curves interrelate. When one moves, ideally, the rest follow. It's like in Tai Chi we say, one thing moves, everything moves. So if one vertebra moves, how do the rest fall in line, so to speak, to support that? But what I wanted to say about the lumbar is you've got 5 lumbar. And you can reach back and touch for yourself the top of your pelvis, and then find the knob, the protuberance of the lowest lumbar. So you'll feel it. It's like a knuckle. Yeah? So that's the 5th lumbar. Then above that, you've got the 4th lumbar. And then above that, you've got the 3rd lumbar. Now, these vertebrae are big honkin' bones. They're as big as your wrist. You feel this little tiny knuckle back there, but the bone itself is wide. And the one vertebra that is vertical to the ground is the 3rd lumbar. So I find that fascinating. Is that where the Mingmen might be? If you bring your mind to the Mingmen, you've got that column of support that is already there by design. So you don't need to go, ugh. Some of you might have a very tight back, or this might feel really good, but you just see, part of when we eliminate this curve, we have to put a curve back somewhere. So where did the Tai Chi cats put the curve? They put it in the leg. Ankle, knee, quad. So if you're going to have a relatively flat spine, you've got to have an S curve somewhere to balance the straight pole now, right? The straight pole is movable, but we've taken the S curve and put it in the legs. So that's why when you eliminate the lumbar curve, sinking back, pushing the pelvis back, you might feel that you grab here at first. But ideally, you want to feel a softening. The knees soften, the quad softens, and the ankles soften together at about the same angle. So the angle here, and the angle here are in harmony. Okay? So sinking can be very simple. And now your back is neutral. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that before we went on. So, How do we get into the move we just learned, which leads to the white snake flicks tongue? It comes from a horse stance, which is on a diagonal. Your weight is on the back leg, which would be the left leg. This arm, it's like you could rest your wrist on something. Like it's hanging around a friend's shoulder, say. Elbows over the knee. The other hand, arm, is over the front leg with the palm down, hand, foot, elbow, knee. The chest is open. The left shoulder blade goes close to the spine. The back is neutral. The third lumbar is straight, vertical. That's good. You can think about these things and you will feel things changing. So, what do we do from here? We're going to close. So, we've done it many times. We're going to close, but we're going to close in such a way that we're going to think of blocking a blow that's coming past the right side of your face. So I'll show it facing you straight on. We're going to close, and in order to close, we're going to turn the left foot in by pivoting on the heel. Pivot. So your weight is left. The left arm is going to come protect your face as you turn. This arm is going to become a pump handle again, or just like here, right? Just like here. Here. Sink. Bring your weight right. This happens all together. Close. Now notice, heel steers the pelvis. Pelvis steers the spine. Close. Now don't do like I do, which is say your prayers, night, night. No, keep your head on your shoulders. Close. Now, your focus is here. You have a front and a back now. Here. You're going to open, tie the coat, weight is forward, weight right. Now, as you close, bring yourself over your back leg and close. Okay? So, you're here, weight is left, head is straight, arm around a friend's shoulder, elbow hanging down, shoulder down, comfortable. Chest is open. Close. Open. Come back. Close. Now, you can bring your weight onto your front foot, and we're going to move forward. We're going to charge forward. Open and bring yourself up. Let this arm bring you up and forward. And now cut with this leg a bit forward. Pump, pa. So you move. Weight left. Pivot on the heel. Turn, weight right. Ward off. Come back. Put the heel down. Commit your weight to the front leg. Feel the ground coming into you. And filling the back and opening the arm. And then lifting, 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 lifting. And pop, pop. Grounded again, safe on your back leg. Okay? Just that. opening helps you complete your turn towards your forward leg. Come back. Ward off. Come forward. Keep your weight back. Open the arms again, and here's where we left off. Left arm catches up. Slice. Slice. Paddle. Boom. Once again, we'll use this as the front, which means that if the cherry orchard is front, this move will start turned to the left corner, right? So 90 degrees and then to the corner. Close, block, continue, come back, turn, onto your right leg, through the ground, forward, protect, slice, slice, paddle, skewer, bubbling well, forward and up, turn out the leg a little, place the foot, come around, unwind it, set it down, weight on the left. The right leg sweeps, but not too far. The arm balances it out. Forward, paddle, Wash the counter. Relax. Catch flies. Catch flies. Boom. Pop. Hit. Close. Forehead. Temple. Under the chin. Over your knee. Comfortable back. Steel. Open. Pull silk. Wind up. Throw the punch. Sink left. Come upright. Sink. Turn. Push from the back leg. Push from the front leg. Come up. Over. Forward. Okay, I'm going to stop the tape, I'm going to start it again, and we're going to go from the beginning to the end, and hopefully my battery won't die. Okay.